all, we want to thank the Fitchburg Art Museum for hosting our club today. I think this is going to be an interesting talk. We're going to be seeing an exhibit. I'm looking forward to it. Had a good turnout. We had our board meeting upstairs in a nice room.
Had about 600 people show up. We sold 71 tables. I have half the show sold out for April. I have flyers here. If you'd like to get a flyer, please let me know and I'll give you a flyer to the next show. I'm done with my show report.
That's excellent.
That's the way to do it.
The next journal, I hope we're going to send for publication and by April. I'm committed to doing it.
We're looking for...
Yeah, so I'm looking for articles. I have a few articles now people have given me, but I need some help, and I'm going to do my utmost to get it out.
The first Sunday in December, whatever the day of the month that is, I haven't looked at the calendar. It will be at Waltham High School. From that point onward, pay attention. It may very well be our last meeting at Waltham High School because the rental costs of Waltham High School have gone up to about $95 an hour. And that means it's like $560-ish just to hold a meeting there. We are very actively looking at a number of other places for meetings starting in January. So pay attention to the website, pay attention to the snapshots. We'll bring information. Yeah.
I'm from the heart of the Commonwealth, Worcester, Massachusetts. Unfortunately, now this is a camera that I picked up somewhere, more than likely a yard sale, a number of years ago. It's been up in the attic. I've completely forgotten about it, but recently I've been trying to collect the cameras I have strewn about the attic and sell in the garage.
Whistler from Abington, Mass. I missed the last show, but that's all right. I was in Pennsylvania, and I got an original Canon F1.
Wow.
And it has a 24mm f2.8 lens. And it also came with a 51.4. It came with a Tokina zoom, and it came with the ubiquitous motor drive that you never see, with the big, huge handle that comes down below. And I'm missing the magazine for the 10 AA batteries. So if anybody has a magazine that holds 10 AA batteries, then I can use the motor drive.
Power shot, and the viewer stops working. Call Canon. They apparently have a defect in them that they'll repair it for nothing, no matter how long you've had it.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, you'll get information on the screen, but you don't get a picture. And there's something wrong with the sensor that they, on their website, listed as a replacement, but you call them up and they send you the information and mail it to them. It takes about a week to get it back.
This is a Nikon SP, and it's in beautiful shape. I walked in, I saw it, I flipped the cover of the case open, closed the cover of the case, put the bar, didn't even see if it worked, didn't see what condition it was in or anything.
And you didn't care?
And I didn't care. When I got it out in the car and I looked at it, I couldn't believe it. Everything was perfectly on it. And so you can find these.
Processing labels for anybody who has old Kodak labels. The date is an outdated date on them. They all has a date on them. They used to have a rule that said you paid for it, we'll process it forever. Just about 3 weeks ago, I sent some in with a couple old, actually 5 of them with old labels. 2 of them they processed because they were European and they didn't have an expiration date on them. And the other 3 labels had an expiration date of like a year ago. Sent me back to them with the label.
They said sorry.
Sorry, and you have to pay for a process.
Yeah, personally, I want to thank the museum for letting us get away with doing this. When was the last time? Think about it. Photographs are one thing. When was the last time you saw a camera exhibit in an art museum? Anybody?
I've seen photo exhibits.
Photo exhibits, but you don't see.
But not.
You don't see cameras, and particularly you don't see. I think. Steve, how many cameras do we end up sneaking in here? 46?
Somewhere in that neighborhood, John, yes.
Somewhere about 46 or so. And what you'll see is as Bud takes you through, after I talk, the invention of dry plate in the 1880s basically fomented a bigger revolution in photography than the digital revolution. Dry plate was bigger than digital. You brought a whole new breed of photographers into the field, with some dire consequences. I'll just read this right here. Snapshots on the beach of the persistent camera fiend makes life weary at crowded seaside resorts. I pulled this out, not theoretical, this is examples of how to do it. How to make pictures interesting. I just love this little section here. Have you ever had an enthusiast hand you a collection of prints which, while good technically, did not particularly interest you? Why your indifference? You know, the prints are all pictures with no particular point to them, no story value. They explain to you what the point is and what a story value to a picture is.
I give you some details about the show itself. The director, Peter Timms, came to me in February, this past February, and said, "What about a 30-minute snapshot show?" And my response to him was, "We can do it." And where this all comes from was that Peter's father was a roustabout in the Texas oil fields in the 1920s, and he assembled a number of pictures, a good group of pictures taken in the oil fields. And Peter put these into albums and sent 2 albums, family albums, to the museums. The first pictures we'll look at is by an amateur photographer. He was an amateur, Alfred Stieglitz. These were taken when Stieglitz was associated with the Camera Club of New York in the 1890s. The pictures you see here are photogravures that were found in a closet at the Applewild School here in Fitchburg. They didn't realize they had them. They had about a camera, which is a Kodak #1 in this case. And this is, I believe, a replica of the first camera that was put on the market by George Eastman, roll film hand camera. And that's what snapshot photography is about. And this camera it came loaded with a roll of film, 100 exposures. And you sent the camera back to the factory. They unloaded it, developed your film, reloaded it, and sent you back 100 prints.
It's been dropped on my shoulders to give you a quick rundown on some of these cameras. And if we can, I think I'd like to start out on the back area, and we'll work our way back in here. That's what I wanted to do by starting out here is just to, as some of you folks know, my interest in cameras runs anywhere from the obscene to the whatever. And there's a representation here of a few different little bits and pieces just to give you a quick overview. We're going to, not in any particular order, but let's talk about Polaroid photography for just a moment. This is the Polaroid 95, this large brown folder, which is commonly called the canoe anchor. They proceeded to build quite a number of cameras eventually, but the little one on the top is the Swinger. And that was Polaroid's first venture into what you would have to call the really inexpensive class camera. And they developed a particular roll film for that. There's a box of it sitting there. Going along with Polaroid again, here's the SX70, and that's the camera that was this was a startling, unbelievable breakthrough camera. This camera fit in a men's suit coat pocket. As the film, it was motor driven, and as the film came from the ejection slot, it was printing. It spit the finished product out into your hand. There was no coating or anything else. There it was. It was extraordinary.